The way we all knew that Alyosha was a male character from his initial appearance only showing his back in a trailer because there was no way the designers would allow a female character to be wearing so much clothing. Good times. Alyosha is the first character we meet in the snowy region, and he's the perfect character to set things up. Not only is he appropriately dressed for the environment, but he's a hunter. It's not surprising that a hunter would be wearing thick clothing, and I love the color palette of white, blue, and red that they went for Alyosha. I also like that depending on the setting, you will see him with his hood up or down. It just depends on the situation. I know this next bit isn't related to his design, but I appreciate that they weren't afraid to give him a deeper voice in the English dub. I thought for sure he would have a higher tone, but this deeper voice works really well with his character. Jumping into his design, we have the main three colors of white, blue, and red, which are also the same colors that are on the Russian flag. I know that these three colors are in a lot of flags around the world, but I just thought it was a fun little detail. I love the patterns scattered throughout his design, and it definitely reminds me of the type of patterns you would find on Slavic clothes. At first, I thought the brown boots were a bit awkward as it doesn't really follow the established color palette, but upon closer look, I see that there are various hues of tans used throughout the design. The scarves on the back have it, and some of the fabric underneath the large fluffy part of the hem. One thing I love about character design is when fashion meets practicality, and you can see that with the bullets sashed around Alyosha's torso. They could have just slapped a belt on there and called it good, but instead they decided to make it make sense. Alyosha is a hunter with a sniper rifle, and having bullets readily available is a perfect choice for him that makes sense. If you look at his leg, you'll see a thigh strap, but it has a box attached to it with his vision. Past characters have had thigh straps just slapped onto them for the sake of it, but Alyosha serves more of a functional purpose. Perhaps his extra ammo is tucked away inside. I also like that the pants have a large red stripe on the side. I didn't notice this detail at first, but it helps make the legs just a little more interesting to look at as opposed to just throwing on some jeans and calling it a day. I'm honestly shocked that the more I look into Alyosha's little details, the more I appreciate them. You can tell that this design was carefully thought out. Even his dog has a red sash that matches the red pieces tying the hem of his hood together. The main critique I have for Alyosha is honestly a complete nitpick, and that's the eyes. The very light minty green hair next to those very light yellow eyes makes it a bit hard to see, especially with the bangs covering part of his eyes. I think adjusting the golden hue of his eyes just a little would help them not blend together with the light tones of his hair, or they could give Alyosha darker eyelashes, and I think that would give a similar effect. Jumping into the splash art, it's honestly nothing crazy. You have Alyosha with his sniper rifle at the ready and his dog by his side ready to attack. It took me a second to figure out what the dog was holding in his mouth. At first glance, I thought maybe he was eating the same sausage from Alyosha's idol, but instead it looks like a frisbee with a giant spike on the top. Aside from the confusion there, I love that they went with his hood up and the electro elements swirled around him makes the splash art silhouette just a little more interesting. It's thanks to the dog and the pointy ears of his hat that you're able to tell pretty quickly if you manage to summon him or not. I've said this plenty of times on this channel, but sometimes less is more. The reason I love a lot of the 4-star splash arts in Genshin is because they fully understand and utilize this concept. The splash arts have to be carefully crafted to not overshadow the 5 stars, and in doing so, they have to take extra care, making the splash art readable without overdoing it for the 4 stars. That's why so many of the 4-star splash arts are successful. As beautiful as the artwork is on splash arts like Malwika and Columbina's, it's almost overwhelming as they become a giant black blob on your wishing screen. Having a bigger splash art doesn't automatically make it more impressive. But this isn't where Alyosha's design ends. This next part is going to get into spoilers from Act 2 of Snezhnaya's Archon Quest, and I highly recommend you play it first before watching the rest of the video. It's too good for me to spoil it for you, so please heed the warning and check it out for yourself first. Alright, in Act 2, the characters enter a murder mystery plot. 2 characters are dying every day due to a ley line phenomenon, and those remaining are frantically running around to figure what's going on. While the chaos is ensuing, we are reminded of a story Alyosha told us when we first met him. When the Grim Reaper appears, it will take on the face of someone you know, and the moment you recognize them, you're done for. Alyosha and Mitya find a note that reads, "Death is near," which is such an awesome foreshadowing moment for the climax of this murder mystery. Alyosha was switched at the very beginning with the shade of death herself, meaning it was really Renova watching everything unfold and Alyosha was long gone. When it's finally revealed that Alyosha and Renova swapped places, we get this creepy face on the photo and his design undergoes some changes. His hair loses the minty color and becomes a white color. His already yellow eyes remain the same but are replaced with Renova's special pupil. The tan colors of his outfit before were now covered in a darker blue, but by far my favorite detail is the red trim that he used to have underwent changes. Instead of just a red line, it is now a red line that forms the patterns of eyes, which is one of Renova's biggest motifs. The attention to detail here absolutely blew me away, and it took a design I already liked and elevated it further. It makes me wonder if this was the reason why Alyosha's hair and eye color are so light, so that when Renova takes over, her colors can easily be transitioned onto his. Seeing the character that took us in when no one else would when Paimon wasn't feeling well, the character that helped us get settled in Snezhnaya and show us around turned out to be Renova was shocking. The developers could have easily just said it was Renova, but they decided to go the extra step and alter his design slightly. We even had this spoiler presented to us straight in our face in the Sudden Snow trailer. Alyosha is seen to be hunting one of the NPCs, but Valeri intervenes, and when Alyosha goes to attack him, his dogs are red, just like they are when Renova attacks both Mitya and the Traveler. The trailer tricked us into thinking this was just a stylistic choice as Valeri's bears were blue and his wolves were red, but it turns out it was a crazy foreshadowing moment of what was going to happen in the climax of Act 2. That quest succeeded in creeping me out, and I do not want to step back in that theater for some time. I don't think many people were expecting Alyosha of all the characters to be swapped with Renova, and I certainly didn't expect that they would alter his design to showcase this. It made me love Alyosha a lot more, and the detail of the red eyes on his outfit was just what pushed it over the edge for me. So of course I had to include the Renova version of Alyosha in this video. This is part of the reason why I like to wait until we get to meet brand new characters in the game before making their specific design breakdowns, because of cool surprises like this one. If you enjoyed, please leave a like and consider subscribing. I talk about character design a lot, and for the new Snezhnaya characters, I've already given Odette her own video, and I've talked about them all briefly as a whole in another video of mine. If that sounds like fun, please feel free to check them out, and let me know what you think about Alyosha in the comments. Do you like his design, or do you not? Do you think he should have been a 5-star, or are you happy that he's a 4-star? I'd love to hear about it as long as you remain respectful as always. I hope to see you in the next one.